Greetings and thank you for tuning in to MCG Wellness YOU, a wellness journey platform to educate, influence, inspire, and motivate you to a happier and healthier life. We are here to benefit your body, soul, and spirit, assisting you along your You journey. Join us as we explore the many avenues along this journey to self-care, self-love, lifestyles, adventures, health, wellness, finance, credit, and so much more. We are all about the total package of you. So sit back, relax, and enjoy this segment. Happy listening. Be well. Disclaimer alert. Please be advised that the information that you're about to listen to is simply here for informational, educational, and entertainment purposes only, and not to be considered or taken as legal, medical, or professional advice. Greetings and thank you for tuning in to one more segment of MCG Wellness YOU. And I'm here in this moment with a young man who I had the privilege of growing up in elementary, middle school, neighborhood. He was one of the young men in the neighborhood, just all around young man. We fell out of contact with each other for years, and we've circled back and kind of caught up. And he's doing his own thing, basically, as an independent contract truck driver. And he's toured just about every state in the United States. And he's just doing it. He's allowing his travel to be seen through his eyes by videos and audios and YouTube, and allows those who can't travel to be able to travel with him. So I'm excited tonight to be able to share with you and let him share his story of how he got into this and everything that's going on with him. So at this time, without further ado, I'd like to welcome Scott.
Good evening, Terry. How are you?
I am good.
Good. Okay. Well, I'd like to thank you for allowing me to be in your gracious program. Thank you so much for even considering me. I'm really excited about it. First time something like this has come my way. So I like to take advantage of this opportunity. And my name is Anthony Scott Sims. I'm 51 years old. Proud of my age. I've for the last 2.5, 3 years, I've been a CDLA truck driver, and I've had the opportunity and the privilege to travel across the United States and to see many things and to kind of like take my neighborhood, if you so, across the country with me through my travels. Through modern technology, I'm able to do that, with Facebook and YouTube, and to share my travels with the people that really aren't able, to get out of their neighborhoods and travel like I do. I haven't always been a truck driver. I grew up in small town USA, Johnson County, and most of the people that I grew up with, they never probably left the county. Right. Smithfield, Selma area, maybe Kinley and Pine Level, those areas, little small town people. And after I grew up, I'm the youngest of 6 children. After I grew up, my older siblings, they left, and it was mainly just me and my mom, and my other brother. And God bless them. My mother, bless her heart, she passed away in May of last year. and she's my biggest heart.
Mm.
And my brother as well. He passed away last year as well in November. And so, this podcast is for them.
Okay.
They've been a big inspiration in my life, and I miss them dearly. They also are still inspiring me to keep going and to live for them, if you will.
Yes.
I'm big on family, and I try to keep my family together whenever possible. To encourage the ones that are not where I'm at. But anyway, I don't want to get too deep into that. Me and my brother and my mother, we were in the little small town of Selma,
Mm-hmm.
and I grew up on those streets. And fortunately, I was able to make my way out. I learned how to cut hair on my mama's back porch after school.
Okay.
And found a pair of my daddy's clippers up under the cabinet one evening, and I just started cutting. So I cut a lot of the guys' hair in school, in high school, football players, basketball players, and got pretty good with it. So after school, after graduation, I went and got my barber's license, and got my license. I got a job with American Airlines
Okay.
in 1991, and once I graduated from barber college, I got a transfer from Miami. From Raleigh Durham to Miami,
Okay.
and that's began my travels there. Went to Miami. I worked for American Airlines for 10 years, Miami. Then I worked in Atlanta Hartsfield as well. Transferred from Atlanta Hartsfield to Dallas, Texas, and I resigned from the airline in 2000.
Okay.
Came back to North Carolina. So I've done my traveling, but it's mostly been in the air.
Okay.
And up until my shop closed about 3 years ago, my barbershop closed about 3 years ago to a flood in Princeton, North Carolina. And I didn't know where I was going to go from there because barbering was basically all I knew.
Right.
So through the grace of God, one day I was sitting at home with my mother, caring for my mother, and this commercial came on for truck driving school.
Okay.
And I just remembered a lot of my customers were truck drivers, and I remember their stories, and I just prayed to God right then and there that, hey, maybe this is for me, but I didn't think it was because I did not like driving, period. And so that's how my driving career began. Sitting there with my mother, caring for my mother, and a truck driving commercial came across the TV, and I had just, closed my shop because of the flood and stuff. So I was flexible with that. I really didn't think that I was going to be a truck driver, but I thank God that it turned out the way it did.
Okay. And I have to ask, a lot of people say that, where my career is right now is not where I plan to be or where I started to be. So so give me a little bit more on that. You didn't like to drive, but you jumped right into driving a truck.
Right. So what I would say is that God is my God, the one I serve. He's a God of possible impossibilities.
Okay.
He will make things happen for you that you just never even believed would ever were possible. So what he did for me, like I said, I never liked driving. If I drove 30 miles, I'd be yawning. And if I was on the passenger side, I would be asleep. I was never a fan of driving, but he took me from standing in the barbershop all day long, talking with people, vibing with people, that kept me on my toes. But sitting behind the wheel of a vehicle, that wasn't my thing. And so, but what I would say is that if you're not where you want to be right now, don't close the door on any options. Pray to God about it, and if that's not for you, then I'm sure that He will remove you from that. But if whatever it is that you think may not be for you, pray to Him about it. That if you have a desire to do that He prepares you for that, because that's what He did for me. And like I said, if I was behind the wheel of a car for more than 30 minutes, I was sleeping, getting sleepy. So when I told my sister and my friends that I was thinking about going to truck driving school, they all looked at me and raised their eyebrows. Are you sure? Yeah, I'm sure. And they weren't sure, that they weren't for sure. They wasn't certain and positive, because I guess they didn't want me to be that truck on the road with them,
Right.
So, but I thank God that it worked out. He prepared me for it. Now I get in my truck and I'll drive across the country, 4 days, 5 days, and then drive right back across, 4 or 5 more days. So, and I'm driving for 10 and 11 hours, a day. So, putting 500, 600, 700 miles sometimes, on the vehicle per day. So, God is a God of possibilities, and if you're not where you want to be, just hold on, keep praying about it, and wait on Him.
Let me ask then, when you first started driving, did you immediately do long distance driving, or was it local for you at first?
Oh, well, I got a story for you on that one, Miss Terry.
Okay.
I was not ready. Like Kevin Hart said, I wasn't ready. When I got out of truck driving school, I definitely wasn't ready. I wasn't prepared. I wasn't seasoned like I am now.
Okay.
I had signed up with Tennessee Truck Driving School, and when we finished with that, what they do, they give you a sponsor, so to speak. Before you even go to truck driving school, they will reach out to a sponsor or a trucking company and tell them they have an applicant and a prospect for them, and that company will in turn sponsor you. They'll prepay for your schooling.
Okay.
So you guys that's listening out there, keep that in mind. So if you think truck driving is for you, like I said, I went to Tennessee Truck Driving School, and they will find somebody that will sponsor you, and you'll have to pay no money out of pocket. But once you complete that course, however much it is that they sponsor you, they pay for your schooling, your training, all that is, no money out of your pocket, but they prepay for it. So you are in a contract with them to drive for so many months for them.
Okay.
So you're already employed by that company by the time you leave truck driving school. It's a guaranteed career, but you have to look at it, and they're not going to pay you as much as they would a seasoned driver. So you're starting off. You may get a little discouraged, but just hold in there. And be sure that it's not going to last forever, but just like anything else, when you come in entry level, you're not going to make a whole bunch of money to start with, unless you're very, very fortunate, and very few people do.
Right.
But don't let that get you down. You're on your way to a great career, something that you can carry with you as long as you have your driver's license. I got out of truck driving school, went to Brand X Transportation, and they immediately went through my health screening and all that, and they put me on the truck to train for 240 hours behind the wheel training.
Is
And
that with a seasoned driver, or is that
yes,
by
yes,
yourself?
yes, yes, ma'am, yes, ma'am.
Okay.
You have a trainer.
Okay.
They won't turn you loose on the truck
Okay.
on their truck by yourself until you complete so many hours of behind the wheel training, and you do have a trainer.
Okay.
So I was on the truck, and I had a trainer. He's a great guy. We're some of the best of friends now. And we drove across the country
Oh,
like
wow.
I'm doing now, from coast to coast. And I have never done that before. So, I mean, I'm up and down different altitudes. Sometimes I'm up 8,000 feet, in that elevation. Then we're going across the deserts. And I mean, I was everywhere on that truck.
And this was training.
Yes, this was training. and so I really wasn't ready for that. And I mean, and it was two drivers. So mind you, we're both driving. So when two people are driving, I drive for 10 hours, he drives for 10 hours. That tells you that the truck is not stopping. So
Okay.
we're constantly moving day and night, and that really took some getting used to.
Mm-hmm.
And so we back and forth across the country. About 2 weeks into it, we were up at Vince Lombardi in New Jersey. It's a it's a truck stop,
Okay.
rest area. And that night, I drove late into the night, but truck driving is not all glamorous every day. Sometimes you go 2, 3, 4 days without a shower.
Okay.
It depends on where you're stopping, and I wasn't used to that either. so I got to that truck stop, and I said, well, enough is enough. I'm going to get me a shower. I don't know about you. So I went in there, and I was very, very tired, fatigued, and from running so hard that, and this is very serious, because I know I'm sure not the only one that's happened to, but just to give you a heads up, to be careful out there, because what I'm about to speak about was a very dangerous incident, and it could have turned out bad for me. So I went in there to take a shower. The trainer, he stayed in the truck.
Okay.
And so I went inside the facility, got me a shower, and while I was taking a shower, I started feeling kind of strange, and I knew immediately something wasn't right, and I came back out of I cut the shower off, I got dressed, and I started walking out. And when I walked out of the bathroom, the shower, I saw all these people, and I became frightened.
Okay.
And I was scared to death. I was hugging the walls, and I finally made my way out of the rest area, and I looked out, and it looked like it was thousands of trucks out there, and I had no idea which one that I came out of.
Oh, wow.
And I became fearful. I became frightened. And this is just the realness of it, what really happened. And so I'm not trying to scare anybody, but this is my story.
Right.
So I became fearful. I became frightened, but I had the mental capacity, to thank God that I was able to unlock my phone, and it's like my circuit board was wiped clean. I couldn't remember anything, but I was able to unlock my phone and call a friend, and it was about 3 o'clock in the morning, and tell her that I was frightened. And she said, "Who is this?" I said, "This is Scott." I said, "I'm scared. I'm frightened." She said, "Are you playing?" I said, "No." And I began to cry on the phone. And so she knew it was serious then.
Right.
So thank God for her. She reached out to the trucking company that I was driving for.
Mm-hmm.
They reached out to the driver that was in the truck, and he came and got me and took me back to the truck. And I had no idea what happened. And so the next morning, I laid on down that night. The next morning, I got up and I jumped up. I was going to run inside to use the restroom. He said, "Hey, man, where you going?" I said, "Use the bathroom, man." Yeah. And he said, "Are you okay?" I said, "Yeah." And he said, "What do you remember about last night?" I said, what you mean? He said, do you remember going to take a shower? I said, yeah. He said, what you do with the clothes that your dirty clothes? And I said, I don't know. He said, what do you have on? And I looked, and I had the same clothes on. And so then I started realizing, why did I put these same dirty clothes back on? And so then he told me about the episode that I had, that he had to come get me and rescue me.
Mm-hmm.
Without that, I had no knowledge of what had just happened that night before. So they took me off of the truck because of the episode, flew me back to the headquarters.
Mm-hmm.
They drug testing. They did MRI to see if I had a stroke or anything.
Right.
And nothing came across, that was out of the ordinary, except for I had just fatigued,
Right.
I wasn't used to driving and being up and that across the country, for that far. And I just, my body just wasn't ready for that yet. So it took a process for me to be able to drive like I am now. It didn't just come naturally, and just have to take your time, not rush yourself, pace yourself, and just believe in whatever it is that you want to embark on, what kind of career, or whatever. If it's driving or something else, you just have to just take your time and pace yourself, not get overwhelmed. And because the situation that I was in, it could have turned out very bad for me. But thank God that I had His protection on me, and everything came and worked out, and I'm still driving today.
Correct. And of course your body went through a shock because, like you stated, you've never driven for that long. You've never been up for that long period of time. Going through all those different elevations and everything. So your body honestly went through a shock. And that's a very intense and scary feeling. So
right, and I don't want to frighten anybody, like I said, but those are the realities of what could possibly, that could possibly happen. And later on, I found a couple of more truck drivers that said that they experienced similar situations. So, and I think they call it global ambient. I forget what the last word is, but it's something with your body being fatigued and anxiety, and it just causes a mental shutdown. So that's something that you want to be careful of if you're going to be a truck driver, and if you're not used to driving, that's something you want to be careful about.
And see, and one of my questions that I was going to ask you was, there ever a moment that you were deterred from driving, and you could honestly have said yes because of this incident, but you stuck in there and you held on to it, and you allowed your body, like you said, to pace yourself. You allowed your body to get into the rhythm of this because you've been doing it now for so long. So it's probably like second nature to you.
That's exactly right. And I don't know if this is one of your questions, but I wanted to say, I don't want to get ahead of you.
You're fine. Go ahead. You're good.
I just wanted to say, now that I drive, and I'm pretty seasoned now, what I learned to do to kind of keep myself from becoming fatigued, and because I'm still human, no matter how many miles I drive, I'm still human. I still get tired.
Right.
I get sleepy, I eat. I try not. I watch the things that I do. I try not to eat too much when I'm behind the wheel. I'll snack and drink fluids.
Okay.
I don't want nothing heavy on me. It takes oxygen to digest, and you get sleepy. And so I watch what I eat. I stop periodically, get out, walk, stretch, and I love to fish. I keep my fishing pole on the truck with me. And at any given moment, just like this afternoon, I stop, and I'm in Missouri by the river.
Okay.
I hooked my fishing pole up, and I went out there and I went fishing for about an hour and a half.
Okay.
And I do that. I travel across the country with my fishing pole, and that's one of the things that I enjoy doing while I'm at home. So I just said, you know what? Just because I'm not at home, I'm not going to stop enjoying doing the things that I do when I'm at home.
Gotcha.
So take take your life on the road with you. Don't stop living just because you're not at home, you know. And that's what I found to be very helpful for me in my career.
That's good. That's good because that moment of fishing allows you to relax, allows you to be calm, allows you to rest up and before you get back on the road.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, and while we're talking about eating, because one of the things that you do in your videos and in your lives is that you share the black box. So tell us about the black box, because you said, and I think you shared this with me, that you don't stop and eat everywhere along the road as you're traveling. So tell us about the black box.
That's right. That's right. And thank you for bringing that up, Terry. My mother was a mother like a lot of them, probably yours too, that she prepared meals for us daily. We sat down at the table and ate together. Mm-hmm. And that was the kind of fiber that we had in our households coming up, you know, and I try not to stray from that. Truck drivers, on the other hand, have some of the poorest eating habits you could ever imagine. And because they eat off of convenience. They're on the road. They don't have kitchens in the trucks. Mm-hmm. They grab. They're always driving behind the wheel, so they eat while they're driving. Most of the time, they eat. They run in the store, grab chips, grab hot dogs, grab burgers, grab pizzas. I mean, all these things that are high in fat, cholesterol, you know, stuff, you know, red meat, you know what I'm saying? They just grab stuff and eat out of convenience. And then what do? Sit down behind the wheel and drive for hours at a time. So they're really not exercising for the majority of the time.
Right.
They're not making wise eating decisions, healthy choices when they eat. They grab, you know, they're eating off of impulse. Out of everybody's restaurant, you know, and so eating habits are very poor. I've been able to witness, you know, a lot of truckers that like obese, if you will. I mean, just like all kinds of health issues. You know, they have to. You see the fluid where they have to wear the compression socks and stuff. I've seen all these things, and I said, I don't want to be like that.
Right.
So I have kind of improvised, if you will, when I started driving. My cousin, which is the truck driver, he was one of my trainers. He gave me what I dubbed the little black box.
Okay.
And the little black box is it's a portable stove, and it's made by Road Pro. I'm plugging them in. I pick them up from a truck stop, and what you can do, it opens up like kind of like one of your father's old lunch boxes, those old timey lunch boxes. It opens up, and inside of it has a heating element, and you can buy these aluminum trays from Walmart, and you can put any type of food that you want to put in there, and you can close it back up, and you can cook it, and sometimes in a matter of minutes. So what I realized to do myself, I love to cook when I'm at home, so I brought that with me as well on the road. I'll before I do each trip, I go by Walmart or whatever grocery store, you know, and I'm close by. I have a cooler. I'll fill my cooler up with anything from pigtails to squid and lobster and steaks, and I love to eat different things. So while I'm behind the wheel driving, whatever I decided, whatever meal I decided to prepare for that day, I got it inside of the box, and it's cooking while I'm driving. And sometimes it's hard to keep driving while you smelling all that food. So that thing makes you want to pull over and eat. But I prepare my meal almost daily so that I can eat the food that I prepare with myself, because you never know when you go in these restaurants how much sodium and salt and, you know, your intake and stuff, what they're using, you know, the old grease and, you know, fried foods. That little black box allows me the freedom to eat what I choose to eat, not what somebody else has on their menu. and I try to eat healthy. Like I eat a lot of seafood. I don't cook with a whole lot of grease. Most of my food is like kind of like broiled, baked inside of that little black box. And like I said, I prepare out so many meals, and I just try to make healthier choices. So yeah, you can find me on YouTube.
And I was getting ready to ask you to do that because to the listeners, I just want to share with you that if you see the things that he cooks as far as his dinner, you would not believe that they were done in that black box. So yes, go ahead and give them your YouTube channel so they can follow you, and also your any other social medias. Go ahead and give them that now so they can just check you out.
Yes, ma'am. You can find me Anthony Sims, Black Box Diaries, on YouTube. I'm also on Facebook, Anthony Scott the Barber Sims. You can find me on Facebook, Black Box Diaries, and I'm also on TikTok. So I'm not really familiar with all this modern technology. So if you can't find it, hit Terry up. Maybe she can help you and point you in the right direction.
We will make sure. I will make sure that I add links to our business page as well, so that they can get to you.
Yes.
And because again, what you do in preparing your own meals and traveling is a big deal based on the way you stated. And so I'm sure that you've shared with many other truckers, what you're doing. I could imagine those that you've converted to be able to do this, because I'm telling you, some of the stuff you fix is better than what I be cooking here. So I'm like, okay, I need to be on the road. But no, I commend you for making that choice, because you could have made it a quick fix and run in and get something out of these convenience stores or truck stops. But you're doing healthy, and like you said, you're eating what you like to eat. Plus, you're taking something that you love on the road with you, your cooking skills.
Right.
So thank you for that.
Thank you.
We're going to continue to follow you, and we're definitely going to bring you back for some of those recipes for Black Box. So that'll be another segment.
I'll love to share them with you.
I do want you to share how you began blogging everything, video and everything. I know you said that you wanted to be able to share back to your neighborhood, those who can't travel. You wanted to be able to share the road and those different places that you visited and traveled. What made you start videoing? What made you start going live or the YouTube? How did that come about?
Terry, I think sometimes positive things come out of negative situations.
Okay.
And I'm always looking for something positive.
Okay.
The negative situation I was speaking about is being out here on the road, sometimes feeling like you're alone.
Mm.
So sometimes that's going to happen to any driver that's out here on the road. Like I said, me and my mother are very close, and the last 7 years of her life, she suffers from dementia, and I was used to being there with her to give her showers and wash her hair and cook her food when she couldn't cook it anymore.
Right.
And she's a very big part of my life. So the sad part about me going on the road was having to leave my mother. Mm. So and that's another one of the big discouraging moments, you know what I'm saying, that I faced when it was time for me to go and drive, because I just didn't want to leave my mom.
Right.
And so what I did, Terry, when I had to go, I would keep up with my mom. My sister would we would do the Facebook Live, Messenger and things, something like that.
Okay.
And I could see my mom and my sister. I could stay in touch with my sister daily, and I could really feel like I was still at home.
Okay.
As much as possible through the blessings of social media.
Right.
So being that I was out on the road, I was by myself a lot of the time. Once I got trained and I went on the road on my own truck, you have long nights. I'm out for weeks at a time, sometime a month at a time, and you become you're gonna say you will, but some people become detached from other humans. you don't interact with a whole lot of humans anymore.
Wow.
You're behind the wheel. If you're driving by yourself, 10, 11 hours a day, only time you see somebody or speak with them is when you get out of your truck to go in the store or something like that.
Right.
So it's easy to feel lonely. And so that was the negative part of it. But the positive part of it was I realized, the joy it brought me when I reached out to my mom and my sisters and stuff. And then that relayed over when I started getting out and showing my cousins and people back home the places that I was traveling, and I saw them start to engage with me in conversation while I'm at these places. And when I stopped and go fishing, I would do the lives, and people would respond to that. My old fishing buddies, they would chime in, and I was like, man, this is all right. I feel like I'm still at home.
Right.
And so that's how it really transpired, Terry. Just the need of affection from other people while I'm out here by myself. That need and that desire to interact with people, because like I said before I do this, I was a barber for 30 years, so I interacted with my customers and people that came every day. So I kind of need that still. So that was a blessing that came out of a negative situation, me being lonely and having that phone there with me. All I got to do is tap a few buttons, and I'm on live, and I got a whole gang of people from back home like yourself, that's right there, speak to and, do a live video with. And so that really encouraged me going live on social media and in turn, sharing a whole, my life and my travels with my people.
And which is another thing that I commend you for, because when I reached out to you, I said that was something I definitely wanted others to be able to hear, because those who follow your pages and follow your social media see that. Again, if they've never been to those states, they've never been to those locations in those states, you open up a whole new avenue of travel, which is awesome. So I thank you, and I'm sure they thank you as well. So this is awesome. I mean, like you said, you took a negative situation and made it positive, which is what we're supposed to do anyway. So, but that was a big plus for you. It gave you what you needed, at interacting with family and friends, but it also gave us a chance to see into your life, into your journey, because that's awesome to me. So I really thank you for that, for being able to share that. And we're looking forward to more stories, because again, you said you've traveled 48 states, so you've got 2 more to go. What are the 2 that you have not traveled?
Well, I've been to all of the continental U.S. I haven't driven into Alaska, and of course I haven't been to Hawaii. So those are the only 2. The rest of them I've been to all of them. I just completed that by going up into Maine just maybe 2 months ago, into Maine and Vermont. So I've covered the 48 states right here in the continental U.S.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so again, to my listeners, if you have never traveled, if there's states that you haven't traveled before, I encourage you to find Scott's social pages, his YouTube, and go back and look at some of those memories, because it's awesome to be able to see those places, and it encourages others to be able to travel to those places, because you've gone there and you make it seem so interesting and so fun. It's like, oh, I want to go. So this is good. This is so good. Now, and I know that right now you're in the midst of resting to get back on the road, so I'm not going to continue to hold you, but I would like for you to just leave a word of encouragement to those that are listening, who may, whether it's trucking or whether it's something else, who are sitting there holding on to that and they want to do it, but they're like, I just don't know if I can. If you had to give somebody a word of encouragement, I call it a push. I like to call it a push. If you had to push somebody to that next level, what would you share with them as we wrap up?
Okay, I would say, just go with it. go with it. You know, I try to live my life without any regrets. And with that being said, you know, I don't like to look back and say, man, if I would have if I had just tried, you know, I don't want to be that person.
Right.
And I just say anything that your heart desires, try it. And if it doesn't succeed, then that attempt right there at that time becomes a lesson. It doesn't become a failure. It becomes a lesson, and you learn from that lesson. I always say that you're never a failure until you give up.
Right.
You may be failing, you may have failed, but you're never a failure until you give up trying.
Wow.
So I also say that there's no such thing as a mistake as long as you learn from it. But if you don't learn from it, then it's definitely a mistake. It's only a lesson if you learn from it. It's not considered a mistake. I encourage everybody to just don't focus on the negative. You're going to get a lot of negative feedback from people when you tell them what you're trying to do. If you have something that differs from the way they're going, you're going to get it. But don't let that discourage you. I found that sometimes whatever your heart desires, if you want to try something different, keep that between you and God.
There you go.
And because the negative is going to come, and it's always going to outweigh the positive when it comes to something that you're trying to do for yourself, something when you're trying to better yourself. A lot of people are not happy for you. And I hate to say that, and I hate to end it in a negative situation, but a lot of people are not happy for you out there. You know, some of the closest people that I realized in my life were the ones that were trying to set traps for me in potholes, because a lot of people don't want to see you go to that next level. So you just have to keep yourself encouraged. You don't worry about them. Life is going to deal with them. A lot of people just don't share your ambition.
Right.
And there's nothing to be upset about, but some people can't get where on your level. and you have to be able to recognize those people. You have to recognize, you have to spot them quickly, because if you don't, you can go 10, 15 years around a person that's been steadily with a shovel digging potholes right in front of you the whole time. So just be careful and aware of your surroundings. Whatever you're doing, keep that in front of you daily. Pray about it. Write yourself little sticky notes. You know, do your homework on it. Study on it.
Right.
You know, educate yourself with whatever you're trying to do. Don't just do it because you see somebody else do it. Educate yourself.
That's good.
And then when you do educate yourself, make sure you enjoy what you're doing. And like I said, I cut hair for 30 years, and there was never a time when I considered it work, because I always enjoyed what I did. And so it was just more like a hobby. So, but the moment that you don't no longer enjoy what you're doing for a living, then it becomes work.
Right.
Yeah. So that's what I have on that one. I hope everybody is very successful. I thank you for sharing your time with me this evening.
Oh, thank you.
Your podcast. Thank you. God bless you. And I hope I've set some people in the right direction. And I look forward to talking to you again.
Oh, yes, sir. Most definitely. So I thank you for us jointly representing Johnston County. Yes, born and raised.
919
Joko. So some good things come out of Johnston County. We're representing that tonight. And so I thank you again for, taking your time off the road to be able to share with us. And yes, we will bring you back, because we want some of those recipes, definitely.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, Yes, ma'am.
And thank you to our listeners for tuning in one more time to MCG Wellness and You. And we look forward to having you back as well. Thank you. Happy listening. Be well. If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain. It's free. There's creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many, many more. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It is everything you need to make a podcast in one place. So download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started.